Okay, thanks so much for the invitation. By name, I'm Roger Somolo. I am a founder of a community-based organization in Homa Bay, Kenya. The organization is known as Activate Action. I also serve in the same organization as a youth program officer, whereby we do mentorship program on sexual reproductive health, leadership, and online care protection. Yes, I am.
Okay, where and how did you come to learn about it?
Just based on experience and networking, I can say I have a lot of experience, being that I was working with the organization, working within community, running the same activities. And currently, that's why I started one in Homa Bay. Like I can say, it's my way of giving back to the community. One of the activities or program that I'm doing, I've developed a youth-friendly center in Makongeni Hospital in partnership with Ministry of Health. In this space, the young people are coming in for free services and information on sexual reproductive health. That include HIV, sexuality, contraception, adherence counseling, and also we take advantage of the young people being there to train them on life skills that include entrepreneurship. I also run a program, feeding program for the street children, whereby I do mobilize for resources. After mobilizing for resources, I emphasize. So, like I was saying, in the program, like our feeding program, we do train the street children on hygiene. We provide them with a few sanitation products, and lastly, with the organization, we do train young people on income generating activities, whereby we have currently I can say we do have a car wash that we are doing, though it's not bringing much. And then we have a few poultry farming and agribusiness farming.
What motivated you, or what pushed you to, start doing whatever you're doing?
What I can say about motivation is just passion, and based that I'm coming from the same background. Like maybe just part of my story, I wasn't able to go to school. I dropped out of school being raised as an orphan. I was out in the street, and then I later on reunited with my grandmother. I wasn't able to pay my school fee. It was challenging, and there were kind of abuse that I was going through, being that I was an orphan. And based on that experience, I developed a passion of changing that narrative. That's why I started a community-based organization, which will be focusing in mentorship and focusing on the young people, because I believe young people are able to change their situation when they are mentored and they are empowered. So I started this program based on experience and the passion that I have, because I really want to have a transformed community, transformed youth who are willing to take leadership, youth who are daring to start a social venture without fear or failure.
Good job. I'm just curious to know, you're working a lot with more of social change and social impact. How do you get to measure your impacts? Like, could you give us numbers or just roughly how you've measured your impact around the community you've worked with?
I can say I started as a volunteer, and in terms of numbers, when I'm talking to numbers, just last year alone, I was able to reach over 2,500 young people with information on sexual reproductive health, healthy relationship, decision making, basically life skills training. And also I can say, like in Oma Bay currently is leading when it comes to HIV new infection. We are coming number 2 when it comes to teenage pregnancy. And I can say, based on the previous percentage and the current percentage, I can see there's a reduction in the same based on what we are doing as an organization and engaging the young people. 2, I can say there were kind of a lot of insecurity, crime, youth involving in crime. But currently, being that the young people are engaged and they are doing something, there's reduction in crime. There's reduction in issues to do with the unhealthy relationship. Basically, when I talk of unhealthy relationship, the issue of commercial sex work, issues of having a cross-generational relationship, like a young, maybe a class teacher. So there are reduced cases. And also I can talk of impact based on the feedback that we are getting from the community and Ministry of Health. The community are really appreciating activities that we are doing. And this comes in terms of advocacy that we are doing when it comes to policy making. We do advocate for the vulnerable young people. That's include gender minority. Those are LGBTI persons, youth living with disability, and youth living with HIV. Maybe the last impact that I can talk about, being that we focus more on HIV management, there's a lot of disclosure to the young people who are maybe defaulting from treatment, who are never active in their care. When we check on biological marks, this reduce, maybe like there's issues of defaulting from treatment, issue of increased viral load are not there. So I can say we are able to track and measure our impact. We work with the young people. We work with the people within the community, because like you can't work with young people without involving their caregivers and their maybe parents. So like it's a community intervention, but basically it focuses on the young people. We work with the Ministry of Health. We partner with the Ministry of Social Services. Anything to do with the youth, you have to go through Ministry of Social Services and the Gender. We work with the Ministry of Education, because like we have school program that we run, like some of our programs we do in schools. We meet in school. So there are Ministry of Education involved. We have a Ministry of Culture, because like we do nurture talent. There are people who are having talent that we are linking them with the Ministry of Culture and Sport. So, and the local leaders too. Because like when we are in advocacy, we do advocate for policy making. So I think we really have several partners that we are working with.
What are some of the challenges that you go through during your line of work?
In terms of challenges, I can talk about one is finance, issues to do with the resources. When we talk of finance, like even setting an office really need finance for you to maybe have an office, pay rent for the office. A lot of activities that we do, like feeding programs, they need finance. Reaching the young people with the information, you can't just reach them, train them, then let them be. You really have to maybe mobilize for resources for the same. Another thing is just community attitude. There are people who believe that the youth cannot make it. And based on that, I can say it was a challenge before. We faced a lot of challenges, for example, with the religious community. There are times that maybe we do advocate for condom use. There are some religion churches that do not allow or do not promote issues to do with contraception and condom use. So I can say there's a challenge there. There was a major challenge was registration. There are lots of requirements for you to maybe register an organization and start a lot of paperwork. And if you like, you are not mentored, you are not like empowered, it was kind of challenging. Spaces, so it's challenging too. Like maybe we want to start a project in terms of maybe like when I talk about when we wanted to do a car wash, it was so challenging getting a place where we can start such we can start such a project. And then like skills too. When we talk of skills, the young people are not empowered. Being that we are not empowered, we are not able to maybe go through this because like we don't have enough of skills when it comes to maybe resource mobilization, proposal writing, and then even how to go through the government to get funds from the government. So those are the major challenges, because like when you want to visit a public office, you are not allowed in, they want a recommendation and you don't have such a recommendation. So those are the challenges that we are facing. And then maybe just to add issues, like there are issues to do with the community perception, there are issues to do with the youth perception. Retaining these youth into program is kind of challenging, because like you're bringing them in, you're training them, but now there's nothing that you can offer them after training them. So retaining them, you find them going back to the crime, some are going back to the activity that they used to do. So a major challenge is retaining the youth into program. It's like after empowerment, we always talk of empowering youth, but what do we do after empowering the youth? I believe after empowerment, we should maybe now engage them. So what is lacking and the challenge is engagement. We are not able to engage these young people after training them.
Leave us with a word for the young people who are looking into becoming agents of social change as you.
Oh, thanks very much. I can say, yes, I love what I'm doing because of the impact that we are creating, because of change and feedback that we are getting from the community, Transform Kenya. Transformation in terms of education, transformation in terms of skill transfer, that involves a lot of mentorship. Transformation where the young people can change their own life by engaging them, not just empowering them. My advice, or any other word that I can leave you with, I know most young people fear failure. Most young people are not able to start social ventures or any enterprise activity because of failure. I can say failure is not final. We learn through failure, and all I can say, we should know where we are coming from. That's where we'll know where we are going from. We are going to, because like when you focus on what you are doing, not mine, like where I'm coming from made me who I am. Where I'm coming from made me start what I'm doing currently. So most young people should know where they are coming from. Most young people should not fear failure. Most young people should be transformed. In terms of leadership, in terms of involvement, when I say involvement, it's meaningful involvement into community and public services. And this one can only be done through advocacy, through skill transfer, and through linkage.